Welcome to Chapter 4 Business Level Strategy. The difference between low cost and differentiation strategies, articulate how attainment and differentiated or low cost position can give a company a competitive advantage, explain how a company executes its business levels strategy through function level strategies and organizational arrangement. And lastly, to describe what is meant by the term value innovation. Business level strategy. Overall competitive theme of a business, way a company position itself in the marketplace to gain a competitive advantage. Different positioning strategies can be used in different industry settings. Lowering costs. So in lowering costs, the company able to gain a competitive advantage in commodity markets. Of course, if you have lower costs, many people tends to buy your product. Undercut rivals on price. Same with what I have mentioned earlier that if you have lower price, of course, um, there will be a market segment that will be able to buy your products or your services. Gain market share. Of course, if many people will be able to buy your products, of course, you will be able to also have at least a market share within that specific industry. Maintain or increase profitability. Enable for you to have an increased profitability since there are many people buying your products, of course. Kagaya ng mga principle ng mga Chinese businessman, di ba? Especially here in the Philippines, they sell in a lower cost product pero marami silang nabebenta. So, in thinking nila, pag mas marami silang nabebenta, mas marami yung tubo nila. So, it means mas mabilis yung inventory turnover nila that constitute to profitability. Differentiation. So, what is differentiation? It means na yung company mo or yung product mo or yung product line mo is merong nagsiset apart ka doon sa mga competitors mo. So, ano ba yung company na merong differentiation? So, basically, yung Apple, since, di ba, may own ecosystem yung Apple. So, if you buy an AirPods, hindi mo magagamit fully yung character o yung mga features niya if Android phones yung gagamitin mo. Unless you also buy an iPhone. So, di ba, may mga features yung AirPods na hindi gumagana sa isang Android phone na gumagana sa iPhone. Kasi meron siyang own ecosystem. Yung mga Apple products may own ecosystem. Yung mga speakers ng iPhone, hindi mo magagamit if you're not using an Apple product. So, they make differentiation on their product line. So, distinguishing oneself from rivals by offering something that they find hard to match. Di ba walang nakakagaya dun sa ecosystem ni Apple. Product differentiation is achieved through superior reliability, functions, and features, better design, branding, point of sale service, after sale service, and support. Of course, customer service will be one of the key factors kung bakit nagkakaroon ng customer loyalty. Advantages. Allows a company to charge a premium price. Di ba yung mga Apple products, mas mahal siya compared sa mga Android products. Helps a company to grow overall demand and capture market share from its rivals. So, di ba, in the past, Nokia yung number one in terms of mobile phone. And then, naging Samsung. And then, eventually, naging Apple. Di ba, Apple products is the number one, takes the number one spot in terms of mobile phones. Options for exploiting differentiation. So we have two options in having successful differentiation. So for option one, increase prices more than a cost. So if kagaya ng mga market strategy ng mga Louis Vuitton, Hermes, so they increase their price more than the cost. Talagang mas mataas yung markup nila compared doon sa pag-make nila ng product or yung product cost. So basically, 'di ba, yung mga uh, elites yung bumibili ng products nila. And then therefore, pagka nakahawak sila nun, it means na sila lang yung nakakabili nun. So there will be higher chances that more people in that specific cohorts na maybe in a higher with higher financial stability will buy your product. So it will results to higher profitability and profit growth. So we have option 2, which is the moderate or no price increase. So compared to option 1, itong option na to is hindi sila nagtataas ng presyo, or they just maintain their price. So, as a result, there will be increase in demand. Of course, they're not increasing their prices even though the price of commodity increases. So, of course, you will be having economies of scale and lower cost. So, economies of scale meaning that you already capture a part of that specific market na hindi na mabawala sa'yo, or may sustainability ka na for that specific market. And of course, it will be results to higher profitability and profit growth. Figure shows the differentiation of low-cost trade-off. So as you can see on the y-axis, we have the value through differentiation and the cost on the x-axis. So basically, we are all familiar with what is Walmart is. So basically, para siyang grocery store na nag-o-offer ng lower cost compared to their competitors. So basically, nakita nyo tong efficiency frontier. It means ito yung above that line, sila na yung may mga company made differentiation. So basically, walang differentiation yung Walmart to their competitors since they have a lower cost and lower value to differentiation compared with Nordstrom with having higher cost with high differentiation. So we have efficiency frontier. Shows all the position a company can adopt with regard to differentiation and low cost. Has a convex shape because of diminishing returns. Multiple positions on differentiation low cost continuum are viable. Have enough demand to support an offering. To get the efficiency frontier, a company must pursue the right functional level strategies, be properly organized, ensure that its business level strategy, functional level strategy, and organizational arrangement align with each other. So we need a good system of business if we wanted to have an efficiency frontier. We have value innovation. So what is value innovation? It occurs when innovation push out the efficiency frontier in an industry, enabling greater value to be offered through superior differentiation. So basically, natatanggal mo na na-eliminate mo yung efficiency frontier because you offer more than what efficiency frontier have at a lower cost than what thought possible. So basically, mas mababang presyo yung offer mo compared to the same industry. Enable a company to outperform its rivals for a long period of time. Okay? So this figure shows the value innovation in the PC industry. So as you can see, from 1985, Dell is at low differentiation and about higher cost. And then in 2005, Dell became an industry with value innovation since napababa nila yung cost and napataas nila yung differentiation. Okay? So from this one to this one. So ibig sabihin tumaas yung differentiation niya and bumaba pa yung cost niya. So ito yung tinatawag na value innovation. So market segmentation. So what is market segmentation? It is a decision of a company to group customers based on important differences in their needs to gain a competitive advantage. So based on bakit ba natin kailangan magkaroon ng market segment? Of course, we need to know what cohorts or group of populations, yung need natin i-focus on specific product na gusto nating i-produce based on price, based on the current trend, based on their psychological segmentation, and so on. So we have standardization strategy, producing a standardized product for the average customer, ignoring different segments. Segmentation strategy, producing different offerings for different segments, serving many segments or the entire market. And lastly, you have focus strategy, serving a limited number of segments or just one segment. And in the next slide, I'll be presenting a video with regards to market segmentation.
As we know, different auto manufacturers target significantly different groups of customers. For example, Toyota normally targets people with middle-range incomes who are looking for vehicles with good value for money. When thinking about Toyota, people think of durability, quality, safety, and reliability. In contrast, Mercedes-Benz always targets to upper-class drivers who think of luxury, style, and social class. Mercedes-Benz is a brand that evokes images of luxury, wealth, and success. For many people, owning a Mercedes is a status symbol. It is a way to show the world that they've made it. Market segmentation can help companies to target just the people most likely to become satisfied customers of their products or services. So what is market segmentation and how to implement it? What are its major types, examples, benefits, and limitations? In this video, I will discuss these questions with you. Section 1. What is market segmentation? Market segmentation is a marketing term that refers to aggregating prospective buyers into groups or segments with common needs and who respond similarly to a marketing action. Market segmentation enables companies to target different categories of consumers who perceive the full value of certain products and services differently from one another. Section 2. Types of market segmentation. There are 4 primary types of market segmentation. Type 1. Demographic segmentation. Demographic segmentation is one of the most common forms. It refers to splitting up audiences based on observable, people-based differences. These qualities include things like age, sex, marital status, family size, occupation, education level, income, race, nationality, and religion. One benefit of this kind of segmentation is that the information is relatively easily accessible and low cost to obtain. Some products are targeted explicitly toward a specific demographic. For instance, one personal care company might make 2 deodorant products, one labeled as men's deodorant and one labeled as women's deodorant. There are numerous ways to gather demographic data. One way is to ask your customers directly. This can be time-consuming, but getting the information directly from customers will help ensure its accuracy. You can also get demographic from second-party and third-party data providers, including marketing service providers and credit bureaus. Type 2. Geographic segmentation. Geographic segmentation, splitting up your market based on their location, is a basic but highly useful segmentation strategy. A customer's location can help you better understand their needs and enable you to send out location-specific ads. There are several kinds of geographic segmentation. The most basic is identifying users based on their locations, such as their country, state, county, and zip code. You can also identify consumers based on the characteristics of the area they live in, such as its climate, the population density, and whether it's urban, suburban, or rural. For instance, a clothing company will show ads featuring warmer clothing to people living in cooler climates, and show the opposite to people living in warmer climates. Type 3. Behavioral segmentation. Behavioral segmentation divides consumers according to behavior patterns as they interact with a company. It studies the behavioral traits of consumers, which include their knowledge of, attitude towards, use of, or response to a product, service, promotion, or brand. Here are 4 major types of behaviors you should look at. Number 1. Purchasing and usage behavior. Let's use your ride-sharing app of choice as an example. A working professional uses the service to commute to and from the office Monday through Friday. However, on weekends, the user has the extra time needed to drive, park, and walk to their destination, so they never use the service then. Understanding the behavior of this user, the ride-sharing service could target discounts on the weekends to incentivize usage on days they otherwise wouldn't use the app. Number 2. Occasion purchasing. This component of behavioral segmentation considers the timing within a customer's life, year, or day as a determinant of making a purchase. Life milestone purchases such as an engagement ring or house, seasonal purchases like holiday decorations and gifts, and daily purchases like coffee or food are all variations of occasion purchasing. Number 3. Benefits sought. Other differentiating factors of behavioral segmentation are the benefits different users seek from an experience. Let's use Starbucks as an example. Some customers are compelled by the convenience of ordering through the mobile app and coming in to pick it up. Other customers are more interested in the experience of ordering with a barista and enjoying the ambience of a cozy coffee shop. Number 4. Customer loyalty. Finally, users that exhibit loyal behavior to your business should not be overlooked. One of the most common methods marketers use to reciprocate loyalty among customers is establishing a rewards program. A rewards program can be as simple as a buy 9, get the 10th free sort of mobile stamp card, or provide customer discounts or cash back. Please keep in mind that the tip to build long-term user retention and loyalty among your customers is to treat loyalty as royalty. Type 4. Psychographic segmentation. Psychographic segmentation is similar to demographic segmentation, but it deals with characteristics that are more mental and emotional. Some examples of psychographic characteristics include personality traits, interests, beliefs, values, attitudes, and lifestyles. Understanding these aspects of your audience can help you to create content that appeals to them more effectively. A common example of psychographic segmentation are luxury brands that specialize in customization. As we know, luxury brands, such as Louis Vuitton, Hermes, and Chanel etc., are not targeted at people from every class. A certain standard of living and family income is essential to be able to purchase an expensive luxury product. By using psychographic market segmentation, the marketing team of luxury brands can divide the target market according to their social status first, and then based on lifestyles, attitudes, or personalities. In addition, the organic food industry is one of the fastest growing industries that focuses on a specific target audience. Here the psychographic segmentation also play a major role. Section 3. How to implement market segmentation. Generally, to effectively implement market segmentation, there are 5 steps to follow. Step 1. Define your market. You should ask yourself, is there a need for your products and services? Is the market large or small? Where does your brand sit in the current marketplace? Step 2. Segment your market. You need to decide which of the 4 criteria, demographic, psychographic, geographic, or behavior, you want to use to segment your market. You don't need to stick to just one. In fact, most brands use a combination. So experiment with each one and find what works best. Step 3. Understand your market. You do this by conducting preliminary research surveys, focus groups, polls, etc. Ask questions that relate to the segments you have chosen, and use a combination of quantitative and qualitative questions. Step 4. Create your customer segments. Analyze the responses from your research to highlight which customer segments are most relevant to your product or service. Step 5. Test your marketing strategy. Once you have interpreted your responses, test your findings on your target market, using conversion tracking to see how effective it is. If uptake is disappointing, relook at your segments or your research methods. Section 4. Benefits. The major benefits of market segmentation include the following. 1. Increased resource efficiency. Marketing segmentation allows management to focus on certain demographics or customers. Instead of trying to promote products to the entire market, marketing segmentation allows a focused, precise approach that often costs less compared to a broad reach approach. 2. Stronger brand image. Once the market segment is identified, management must then consider what message to craft. Because this message is directed at a target audience, a company's branding and messaging are more likely to be very intentional. 3. Greater potential for brand loyalty. Marketing segmentation increases the opportunity for consumers to build long-term relationships with a company. More direct and personal marketing approaches may resonate with customers and foster a sense of inclusion, community, and a sense of belonging. 4. Stronger market differentiation. Market segmentation gives a company the opportunity to pinpoint the exact message they want to convey to the market and to competitors. This can also help create product differentiation by communicating specifically how a company is different from its competitors. 5. Better targeted digital advertising. Marketing segmentation enables a company to perform better targeted advertising strategies. This includes marketing plans that direct efforts towards specific ages, locations, or habits via social media. Section 5. Limitations. Despite the above benefits, here are some disadvantages to consider when implementing market segmentation strategies. 1. Higher upfront marketing expenses. Marketing segmentation has the long-term goal of being efficient. However, to capture this efficiency, companies must often spend resources upfront to gain the insight, data, and research into their customer base and the broad markets. 2. Increased product line complexity. Marketing has the downside risk of creating an overly complex, fractionalized product line that focuses too deeply on catering to specific market segments. Instead of a company having a cohesive product line, a company's marketing mix may become too confusing and inconsistently communicate its overall brand. 3. Greater risk of misassumptions. Market segmentation is rooted in the assumption that similar demographics will share common needs. This may not always be the case. By grouping a population together with the belief that they share common traits, a company may risk misidentifying the needs, values, or motivations within individuals of a given population. 4. Higher reliance on reliable data. Market segmentation is only as strong as the underlying data that support the claims that are made. This means being mindful of what sources are used to pull in data. This also means being conscious of changing trends, and when market segments may have shifted from prior studies. Alright, that's all for today's topic. If you have any questions regarding this video, please leave your thoughts in a comment below. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.
We have the comparison of market segmentation approaches. So first, we have standardization strategy. It is associated with lower costs than the segmented strategy. Attempts to attain economies of scale through high sales volume. So yun nga, nagpo-focus yung standardization to lower costs and yun nga, more profit to attain economies of scale. Next, we have segmentation strategy. It involves customization of products offerings such as which drive as costs such as achieving economies of scale is difficult. Production and delivery costs tend to be high. And lastly, we have focus strategy. Have a higher cost structure as new product features and functions need to be added. Attaining economies of scale is difficult. Okay. Business level strategies. We have generic business level strategy. Give a company specific form of competitive position and advantage in relation to its rival. Results in above average profitability. Broad low cost strategy. Lowering cost in order to lower prices and still make profit. So basically, ito yung ginagawa ng mga Chinese businessmen sa Philippines, di ba? Broad differentiation strategy. When a company differentiates its product in some way. Focus low cost strategy. Targeting a certain segment or niche and trying to be the low cost player in that niche. So for a specific market, ikaw yung nag-offer ng mas mababang produkto, which is you can capture yung some customer, diba? Mas dadami yung customer mo since yung ibang company na nag-offer with same products and same features possibly lumipat sa'yo. We have business level strategy, industry and competitive advantage. So we have low cost companies, they charge low prices and still make profits. Absorb cost increases from the supplier since they cannot increase their price. So sila yung nag-absorb ng additional cost because of the increases on maybe in raw materials or the products itself. Offer deep discount prices for buyers. So basically, they offer discount prices, especially if yung quantity nila ng orderin sa'yo is in bulk order. Differentiated companies withstand pricing pressure from powerful buyers and increase prices without buyer resistance. So yun, even magtaas ka ng presyo, still, yung mga customer mo, bibili sa'yo. Absorb price increases from suppliers and pass them to customer without losing market share. So ibig sabihin sila na yung mga company na may customer value, na even though they increase their price, since commodity sila and you have the customer value, still they will buy your product or services. Withstands substitute goods as result of brand loyalty. Yun nga, kasi may brand loyalty yung mga customer mo or may customer value ka na. So, the, probably, they will not switch companies or products. So, strategy is implemented through function and organization. So, functional strategy and organizational arrangement should have alignment in order for us to have business level strategy, in order for us to attain that business level strategy. So, we need to have a good functional strategy and good organizational arrangement from our employees, the system in in our organization, on how we target our market, and so on. Lowering costs through functional strategy and organization. Achieve economies of scale and learning effects. Adopt lean production and flexible manufacturing technologies. Implement quality improvement methodologies to produce reliable goods. Streamline process. Use information system to automate business process. So basically, if we have those software na hindi na natin kailangan gamitin yung mga traditional way na ginagawa natin sa isang company kagaya ng paper base na nagpapatagal sa approval. So basically, we adapt or integrate yung mga SAP sa company natin or other software na yun nga, even wala tayo sa company, makikita natin in that specific software yung ano natin, yung current situation sa planta natin. For example, we can see kung ano na yung level ng inventory natin na meron tayo sa warehouse. Ilan na yung defect rate sa production and so on. So, napapabilis natin yung mga decision natin. Implement just-in-time inventory control system. So, just what Toyota is doing is that if ma-reach na yung minimum inventory level, so tsaka lang magpo-prompt ng delivery sa production nila para hindi na sila gagastos for the inventory or warehousing ng raw materials nila. Design products with a focus on reducing cost. Of course, if we focus the R&D on lowering the cost, of course, we will be able to lower the product cost as well. Increase customer retention. So it is one of the most challenging part in business strategy on how we will be able to retain our customer or to have customer value, because we need to produce a product that is yun nga, akma doon sa mga customer natin in order for us to retain them, and yun nga, para magkaroon tayo ng customer value, and yun nga, as a result, mas yun nga, sila pa rin yung bibili ng produkto natin continuously, and somehow we can also attract other customer because of the customer value. Ensure that the organization structure, system, and culture reward actions that lead to higher productivity, greater efficiency. We have differentiation through functional level strategy and organization. Customize product offerings and marketing mix to different market segment. Design product offerings that have a high perceived quality regarding their functions. So ano ba yung ano natin? Yung mga produkto natin, di ba, na binibili, dapat may high quality siya. Ibig sabihin, yung mga function niya na kailangan natin nandoon sa produkto na yon. Features, so same with features. Kung ano yung mga features na need natin, dapat nandoon sa produkto na yon. Performance, of course, even though nandoon lahat ng functions na need natin, if hindi nagpa-perform well yung produkto, of course, you will not be able to yun nga, prioritize that specific product. Reliability, so dapat matibay. Reliable siya. Pag ginamit natin, dapat mag-function siya accordingly. Handle and response to customer queries and problems promptly. Di ba, isa naman tayo dun, alam naman natin na dapat laging mabilis umaksyon yung customer service, especially if we have inquiries or queries. Di ba, medyo naaasar tayo pag medyo mabagal sila mag-reply. Especially if merong problem yung equipment. So kaya nga yung mga company, specifically yung mga companies na napagtrabahuhan ko, they buy our equipments based on how yung customer service. Kasi 'di ba after noon sometime there will be an instance that maybe that specific equipment will be breakdown. Magbe-breakdown siya o masisira siya. So the tendency is that we will be contacting yung customer service natin or yung mga uh, sa marketing natin na 'di ba bumili tayo based on their on our expectation na they will give good customer service, the after sales I mean, 'di ba? So yun nga, we need to promptly engage on our customer needs and queries. So I think this is the last slide. So focus marketing efforts on brand building, perceived differentiation from rivals. Of course, we need to have that specific uniqueness from our rivals. Ensure employees act in a manner consistent with company image. So without good employee, if, especially sa marketing natin, and then the customer service or after sales, hindi pa rin tayo magkakaroon ng magandang differentiation with our competitors. Create the right organizational structure, controls, incentive, and culture. So basically, we give, di ba, mga incentives pag nakabenta yung mga sales natin or kapag nakapag-produce yung employee natin with what we give them. Kunwari, meron silang quota ng ganito, and then if na-reach nila yun, we will give them extra money because they are able to produce that specific number of item. And lastly, ensure that the control system, incentive system, and culture align with strategic trust. So basically, employee talaga yung key in order for us to function well. Kasi without their help, hindi tayo function properly. And basically, that ends our lesson. Thank you for listening.